And during that year, I was slaving my ass off. Hello guys, and welcome back to my motherfucking channel. If y'all are new, my name is Amarachi and I make content encouraging people to live their best life. I'm trying to gear my content more towards financial literacy and like maturing. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done so below, and follow me on all my socials. In this video, I'm going to talk about how I saved $10,000. Disclaimer, this is not to brag, this is not to show off. If y'all know me, I mean, y'all know I don't like, there's nothing to brag about. I just really want to share my story and show you guys like this is possible for you, and I want to give people some free game. So let's get right into it. So I'm gonna divide this video into 3 parts: my background story, how I reached my goal, and what I'm doing now to reach the next milestone. Starting off with a little bit of background about me. I grew up in a very normal, I would say like lower middle class household. I went to private school all my life. My parents always instilled in me like manage what you have. They were always like trying to teach me the ropes, but I like never used to listen. So from middle school to high school, I was just doing my own thing. I got my first job at, I think I was in 8th grade or a freshman in high school. Can't remember. I got my first job at Kroger.
Low on milk? Half gallons of Kroger milk are just 99 cents at Kroger.
And I was a bagger, so I am the one who put the groceries in the bag. And I remember I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this job. Like, is this what people do for money? And I just always had this mentality of like, this can't be. So I remember one day I just gave up and I quit that job because they had me pushing the carts. I'm a girl. None of the other girls were pushing the carts. So I have me pushing the carts. Period. I left that job and then went to Red Lobster my junior year of high school. Yes. And I was a hostess. So during this time, I was making like a little bit over minimum wage. I think I was getting paid like $8.25 an hour. I thought I was big balling. They paid us every single week. I thought I was in it. Hey, yeah. But yeah, so I remember at this point, my mom had told me about a savings account that she had set up for me when I was a little bit younger. She told me that she put $3,000 in there. And so my mom was like, you know what? How about we play a game? How about every time you get paid, you give me a certain amount of your money and I'll just put it in your savings. So I would give her like $20 here, $50 there, like every now and again. So I wasn't really taking it seriously, but I was kind of participating in the game. And my mom always guided me financially growing up just to make sure I was on the right track. And I thank God for her, because if it wasn't for her, I would not be here. I would do that, and then I worked there for a year, and then I started a cake ball business where I sold cake balls in a box of 12 to my peers. Literally, it was a hot business, but I had to end up quitting because it was taking too much time. Like, I couldn't go to work and do school, so I was like, you know what, let me just quit it. Fast forward a year later, my senior year of high school, I finally quit Red Lobster, and then I started looking for another job, and I found Steel City Pops, which is like a gourmet popsicle place. I was making my first bigger wage job, $10 an hour. I was like 17. Yeah, I was 17, turning 18 in May. So I was 17, right? I'm making $10 an hour. I think I'm doing something. Like, no one can tell me shit. And I used to work my ass off. Like, I'm like so tired. Like, I'm actually really tired. And so during this time, my mom kept on saying in my ear like, hey, like let's keep on doing this thing where we put money in your account. It's safe with me. She'd always send me screenshots of like how much I have. So she was always taking me along the way and showing me. And like I felt like, okay, I'm accomplishing something. So I went to private school all my life. And I remember always like looking at the other kids like, like why do they have all the newest shoes, and why do they drive nice cars, da da da. I was always trying to figure out like, what is it that they're doing that I'm not doing, or what is it that their parents are doing that my parents are not doing. So I've always had that in my head, and I've always wondered about money. And so during my senior year, I also took a personal finance class where I thought we was gonna learn about money and how money works. No, they didn't teach us shit in that class. But yeah, I've always had that like that money mindset, how to hustle, how can I hustle. So carrying that mindset into college. I graduated high school and then I took a gap year at community college. So I went to community college for 1 year, and during that year I was slaving my ass off. So the summer leaving high school, right, I got a second job at this place called Savor Patisserie. It's a macaron shop. They sell macaroons, and it was right next to Steel City Pops. So I would literally work at Steel City Pops and then go to Savor after my shift, and I would work doubles. And like a lot of my classes were online, so I didn't need to go to campus. So I would just work. And at the macaron shop, they were paying me in cash, so sis was not paying taxes. I don't know what type of illegal stuff they was doing, but they was doing it. And then I would keep on giving my mom a little bit of money. So I think by the time I was a freshman in college, I had around like $4,500 in my savings. And I had just accumulated that from high school all the way up until my freshman year of college. So something happens and I get fired from both of those jobs simultaneously. I don't know what the universe was doing. I don't know. Boom, just like that. I literally went into work, I got fired, and then a few days later, I got fired at the other job. I was so confused. So I was on campus looking for jobs, and I would go to the study hall every single day after school. And so I met this girl, and she told me about working at Dallas Country Club, that she works there, she's a server, she makes bread. I was like, girl, tell me more. So she gave me the application, I applied, and I got the job. So that was my first ever serving job. Working at Dallas Country Club was a really interesting experience. You really see how the upper echelon be moving. Like, it's really interesting. During that job, I was busting my ass. Bro, the reoccurring theme is that I used to bust my ass because I wanted something more. Like, I just wanted to figure it out, and I felt like hustling was the first step to figure that out. So I'd make like $600, $700 every 2 weeks, boom, boom, boom. So I was working there the whole summer, and I got accepted into the University of Texas. So from there, I just kept on working the whole summer, and I remember my last paycheck was the first time I ever made $1,000 in a check. I worked doubles throughout the 2 weeks straight. And I was like, I need to get as much bread as I can before I go to Austin, to UT. So I remember I got my check. I was so excited. Like, I had never seen $1,000 just like that. Mind you, I'm 19 years old. I don't know if that's big for a 19-year-old, but me at the time, like, that was big. I had never seen $1,000. Like, $1,000 for my job? Crazy. So I remember I moved to school, and then I had to use that $1,000 to buy all my stuff to move into my apartment. I ended up doing that, and then I was back to square one. And then my mom was like, you know what, for your sophomore year of college, which is your first year at UT, you shouldn't work. You should just focus on school, blah, blah, blah. So this is when I was struggling. When I tell you I was struggling, hey, literally, I only had enough food to feed myself. I didn't even have food to take the fucking bus. I didn't have food to take the Uber, and luckily for us, the bus is free. I was just suffering. My mom would send me $50 a week. That, like, oh, that time in my life, like, my account used to get overdrawn. I used to get charged $35, negative fees. Like, it was really bad. It was really bad. And so I remember begging her over that summer, please, like, I really want to get a job when I go back to school. And so I worked at the country club during that Christmas and that summer, and she was like, okay, when you go back to school, I'll let you get a job. So worked throughout the summer, made more money, kept on stacking my bread, kept on giving my mom portions of it to save in my savings. And then junior year rolls around. Junior year was a really interesting time for me. That's when the financial literacy bug started to really get into my ear. I used to look up videos about how to be a millionaire, how to make money online. I just started seeing different people's videos pop up. So I was having that information fed to me, and it was really eye-opening because I could see that, okay, this is not out of my reach, it's possible for me too. So then that's when I set my goal. I wanted to save $10,000. I didn't have a time frame, I just set it and I just put it up in the air. That semester, I received a scholarship. See, like, when you write things down, the universe starts to open up. I'm not saying that, like, just write shit down and don't do anything about it. But when you write stuff down, the universe starts to work. It just started to happen for me, but it wasn't easy. It was never easy. That Christmas, I came back home to go work at my, you know, my home job. How all the college kids, when they come back, they go back to their old job. Okay, cool. I go back to Dallas Country Club. I'm like, hey, I'm back here for the Christmas break. I need to start serving again. They're like, you along with all your peers are back too, and we have too many people, so you're gonna have to bus tables and get a lower wage. I was like, but you know what? I did it. I was bussing tables the whole of December 2018, 2019. I was bussing tables. Bussing tables. It was funny to me because it was just like, I will do whatever it takes just not to be broke and continue trying to reach my goal. So I did that for the whole Christmas break, and then I went back to school, and then I was trying to apply for internships. I had an internship call with Texas Instruments. I completely blew it, but I just kept on going. I kept on trying to look for resources. Slowly but surely it will fall into place. So that spring, I actually got put on by my friend Jordan. Shout out to you, J Rose. Actually called me up and she's like, Marchi, like, I'm making bread serving at Papados. You should try it. And I was like, I do have serving experience. Okay, let me apply. I went into Papados, got my job. So that was my second serving job. I'm over here serving, going to school, applying for internships, all this stuff. Fast forward, spring semester ends, and then my friend's mom actually got me an internship. So I worked the internship the whole summer. It was in real estate management. Y'all can go watch Day in the Life of an Intern. I have it on my channel. And that was the most money I had ever made up until that point. Up until that point. That was the most money I had ever made, I had ever seen. My internship checks would be like $1,100. I was working 40-hour weeks, like it was like a regular job type of format, but I had never seen that much money. It was crazy. So I was working that every single day of the summer except the weekends, and it was really brutal. I'm not gonna lie to you, it was brutal, but I really enjoyed it. Whatever lease that you would do, you would get commission. So my commission checks would be way bigger, and I was not really saving. I was spending. I'm not gonna lie to you, I was spending. And then towards my last two paychecks, I gave my mom $900 out of one, and I gave my mom, I think, $700 out of the last one. So the last paycheck I got from my internship was the most money I had seen back then. That was the most I had ever seen in a check. I said, wow, my life is changing. My life is changing. I was like, okay, yeah, this is proof of concept. I can do this thing. I can make money. But the thing that I always struggled with was like, why do I have to trade 40 hours every single week to reach this amount? So although I was happy with that, I always had this thing in my head, like, how do I make money without doing that? So I just kept that in the back of my head and kept it going. We're going into senior year. Senior year was a very interesting year, and that's on period. And it was not too long ago. Going into senior year, I had to apply for FAFSA, right? And that fall semester, the financial aid office was like playing me. They're like, no, you've registered for classes, but if you want to hold your spot, you need to pay out of pocket because your FAFSA didn't go through. So I'm over here like, oh my, what do I do? So I go to my parents, I'm like, yo, we have to pay out of pocket this semester, blah, blah, blah. So my dad pays for it, right? And then I'm like, let me go to the financial aid office and see what they're talking about. I'm going to go to the financial aid office because they're playing tricks on your girl. They're playing tricks. So they tell me that I actually was awarded my financial aid, but it didn't come through because I didn't fill out this one form. So I fill out the form and bam, it lands in my account because my account is linked to my school's this thing. So basically I told my mom, she was like, girl, we're putting that straight in your savings. So at this point I was like, I thought I was big balling because I still had my server money, I had my FAFSA money, I was just racking it up. But I was already almost close to my 10,000 mark. So I made sure I wrote down the 10,000 mark everywhere just to think, like, just to manifest and speed up the process. And I just kept on looking at it every day. Every day I would go into work at Papados, I would be on my stuff. I used to suck as a server, but I started to tidy it up. I started to really buckle up and serve those guests very well. Yes sir, how may I help you? I went from making $60 every single night on some like shitty ass serving to making like $100 a night serving. So I was stacking up my bread. I was stacking it up. I just had like this hustle mentality in my head, like, okay, we're gonna reach this goal. We're gonna reach this goal. So I wrote the date of which I wanted to reach the goal. I think it was January. I can't remember what date I put. So I wrote it down on my board and I just looked at it every single day, every day. And I was like, Marchi, you're close, you're close. So this is the part that was hard for me, because during this point, my fall semester, I was traveling because I was like, you know what? I have a little bit of money. Let me explore. Like, let me have fun. I'm in college. I'm still young. So I was traveling and my money was going down. My money was going down. My money was going down. So I traveled to New York, Oakland, California, and DC. And I remember once I got back from DC, I said, I'm not traveling anywhere for the rest of the semester. So I got back home and buckled it down and worked doubles. And then I finally reached my 10K goal. I'm saving $10,000. So, all that summed up just to say, I did this through my internships, my financial aid at school, serving. I was a server, I was a busser. I was a cashier. I did all those odd jobs just to fuel this hustle mentality. I created my own business, the cakewalk business. There was even a point in college, I didn't mention this, there was even a point where I was selling brownies on campus and lied that I was a student org just to make small money, just to feed myself. There were nights that I ate sleep for dinner. Like, bro, I'm telling you, this is ultimate struggle. Like, I was really struggling. Like, I was really a broke college student. There was a time where I only ate ramen for like a good 3 weeks. I only had enough money to eat ramen. And it's like, it's funny because it's like, you're like, why don't you ask your parents for money? Why don't you? No, your parents give you money and they send you off to school and they expect you to survive off of the money that they gave you. So once you start to finish that money, you're on your own now. You're on your own. So it was just really hard, and then balancing work and anyways, so internship, financial aid, serving, busing, all those odd jobs, caregiver. My parents definitely helped me a lot, especially my mom. And then I will say another thing is I was just motivated, because there's at one point in college where I was talking to this boy and he was a model. He's a model, whatever. And I remember we got in this huge argument. He was insulting my whole life about how I can't afford designer, this and that. Anyway, that really motivated me too. And it's just like, I could see that this was not the end all be all. So that's what really fueled my drive to reach this goal, and that's how I reached it. Saying all this to say that you can do it too. I'm not an oddball, if you get what I mean. I'm not an oddball. Anybody can get a scholarship. Anybody can get finesse FAFSA. Anybody can be a server and a busser. You can do it. And I have friends that would tell me like, oh, I can never serve. I can never serve. Sis, I'm getting my quick bread every night. Every night I'm clocking out with $100. What are you doing? What are you doing? And you're still sitting here cackling. Like, it's just a matter of do you want to do it? Do you have that drive? Do you have that desire? So please guys, when you're writing your goals, make sure you set a plan of action to achieve them. It's not just writing them down. Make sure you're ready to get in there and get gritty with it. So I just told y'all my backstory and then how I did it. Now, what is the next step? What is the next goal? So my next goal, I don't know if I want to put this on the internet though. Let me just say this. My next goal is to save the higher end of 5 figures. Let's just say that. Then the way I've started doing it is through trading and automated savings. Thank you guys for watching. I love making this video. If you guys want anything more, comment down below what y'all want to see for my next video. Like and subscribe, because what are you doing? Period. Bye. Crazy kids all looking with your door, Crazy kids all looking with your door,